Hello everyone, my name is Sonia Evans. Thank you for joining me in this two-part presentation on an animal cell versus a plant cell. The learning goals of this two-part series will be to learn how to compare and contrast the characteristics of cells, compare and contrast the structures that make up cells and those structures' functions, compare and contrast the small bodies found in cells and the functions of those small bodies. What is a cell, you might ask? A cell is the smallest living unit of an organism. They are microscopic, which means we cannot see them with the naked eye. What is an organelle? Well, organelles are those small structures that are found within a cell. They perform specific tasks in order to keep the cells alive. You will also hear me refer to animal and plant cells as eukaryotic. Eukaryotic cells are one of two major categories of cells. Eukaryotic cells have membrane-bound organelles, they have a membrane-bound nucleus, and they form multicellular organisms. On the other hand, a prokaryotic cell is a unicellular microorganism. Both major categories of cells have a cell membrane in common. They also both contain cytoplasm, and they both contain genetic material called deoxyribonucleic acid. An animal cell, again, is a eukaryotic cell. They come in various shapes and sizes based on their particular function for an organism. The plasma membrane, also called a cell membrane, is the outer protective covering of a cell. They regulate what enters and leaves a cell, which means we also refer to it as being selectively permeable or semi-permeable. The protoplasm, also called cytoplasm, is the jelly-like substance that fills the cell. This is the substance that help provide cushion and support for the organelles so that they can float freely and perform their task. The nucleus is a large organelle that's found in the cell. It is usually but not always centrally located. It is filled with a substance called nucleoplasm or nuclear sap. It has an outer protective covering called the nuclear membrane and also known as nuclear envelope. There are small openings in that nuclear envelope called nuclear pores. The job of the nucleus is to direct all cell activities. It does this by using information called genetic information. This genetic information is referred to as deoxyribonucleic acid, in short, DNA. It comes in three forms: chromatin, which floats freely in the nucleoplasm, chromosomes, which are the X-looking structures you see here, and chromatids, which is half of that chromosome. The nucleolus is an organelle that's centrally located inside the nucleus. Their job is to produce ribosomes. So you may see ribosomes floating freely also in the nucleoplasm in several diagrams. The ribosomes, once they leave the nucleus through the nuclear pores, they float freely in the cytoplasm, or they become attached to this structure here, where they produce protein. On or in that structure called the rough endoplasmic reticulum, they produce protein, where that rough endoplasmic reticulum takes that protein and further modifies it into protein molecules that can be used by the cell. This rough endoplasmic reticulum then transport that protein to these structures called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum then further modifies that protein into molecules called carbohydrates or lipids. Thank you for joining me in part 1 of this 2-part series on an animal cell versus a plant cell. I hope you join me in part 2.